joining us for another episode of Radio with Pictures, where we say, here are the women. And this is one of the reasons why we should not have the gaps in participation in decision making, particularly when there is a 30% commitment to ensure gender equality at all levels of decision making. To join the conversation in this episode, we're joined by Bonita Ngio from the Pacific Rainbows Advocacy Network based in Lautoka. Hi, Bonita. Good to have you on the show, together with Nirmala Sharma from the Vuniduidui Multiracial Group, and you're also a member of the Vanua Levu Arya Mehela Mandal, which meets in Lambasa.
Yeah.
How are you, Nirmala?
I'm good.
Good to have you with us. Also joining us is Mera Wairita Naisiri from the Vatani Women's Club out in Nosori.
Yes.
Well, actually not in Nosori, you're on an island, right?
Yes, Sharon.
So your distance to travel from your village to Nosori town is
6 miles away to travel by boat. It cost me 45 minutes.
$45.
For $150 return.
$150 return just to get from the village to
to
Nosori.
the mainland, which is Nakelo Landing.
To the mainland, and then from Nakelo Landing, bus?
Half an hour, 30 minutes to Nosori town.
Okay, and then to come to the capital to join us is
Yes.
another 30 to 45 minutes. You've come a long way. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sharon.
And we have Hannah Hicks. Hannah is FemLINK Pacific's program associate who helps us run our community radio network. But Hannah, you are originally from?
I'm actually from Tavua. Yeah, I was born in Ba. We've resided in Tavua for more than 10 years, but currently staying in Suva and working for FemLINK Pacific.
So I want to take you back to your home base, Ba and Tavua, because we're in recovery mode, in rehabilitation mode following Tropical Cyclone Winston. How has your family and community fared?
Well, after checking in with them after Tropical Cyclone Winston, I could say that they were terrified, traumatized as well. According to my mom, it was the most terrifying experience for her. And going through something as such, they're okay, but still without basic necessities in terms of water and electricity, till today, and food shortages as well down towards the west. But they've been making ends meet by coming. They travel all the way, sometimes to Lautoka or Nandi to do their shopping, because the supermarkets, the shelves are empty till today. Yeah.
So the shelves, so that there's no food available, even if you're able to go and shop. So families who are lucky enough to have a car to be able to travel to Lautoka and Nandi are able to do shopping. But 2 weeks after Winston, this is the reality.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Hannah, for sharing. Nirmala, I want to come to you because it was in 2010 when we had another cyclone. And as part of our Women's Weather Watch, we were keeping in touch with you. At the time, I was heading back from the UN Commission on the Status of Women. And once again, we stayed in touch via text. But you mentioned, like Lucille Chute from Lambasa also, of the information blackout. So what did that mean for you and your family who live in the Vuniduidui community, more than 20 kilometers from Lambasa town? What did that mean for you during Winston?
We were totally lost, I can say. We were blackout, no radio, no television, nothing. It happened at 12:30 a.m. p.m. in the midday, and we were just thinking of who gonna help us and who gonna give us information about the Winston which is coming, approaching. Because firstly we heard when we hear in news that it is going to approach Vanua Levu as well as. But so we prepared everything, and we just hearing, like we are just wondering what. Even our telephone, our mobile was being switched off most of the time. Only some certain places it was been network, so there was no good network as well as. So we're just wondering who is going to help us and who is going to give us a new right information what to be done.
So do you think that there should have been more updates via SMS to those who could have received it, particularly after the radio blackout, the information?
Yeah,
blackout?
I thank you a lot for that, Sharon, that you were giving me the most information. Nobody was helping me. So when I received SMS from you, I just saw it to my family, even to all of the community. Some of the communities were with us, because they were thinking that this hurricane category 5 may blow their house, or because it is a lowland area as well as the flooding may arrive. So some of the, even our Fijian friends, as you know, Inoke and them, they were with us at that time, and I was just telling them that Sharon has texted me all the news, so don't worry, we'll be getting our news from Sharon. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Nirmala. Bonita, with the network of PRAN, you work with the most marginalized in the community. So in terms of disaster preparedness, in terms of the information that was being received, how were the members of your network faring, and how did you prepare?
For my network in the Western Division, preparation to cyclones and other natural disaster isn't something new that we come across. And how we are being alert is through the media. So the media plays a very important role in getting messages across to the community. It tells us about what time it's approaching, the category or the intensity of the cyclone. So through the media, we will be able to know how much we need to prepare, and they'll also tell us they'll be cutting water or something. So we'll need to know that water will need to be stored. So these are what we normally do.
And do you feel that you received that kind of information in order to prepare ahead of Tropical Cyclone Winston, particularly the change in direction?
To us, to some extent, yes, we got the information was understood by the community in certain level. For example, the information about water, storing water, but information such as category 5 and all of these,
what does it mean?
What does it mean? People don't know this,
Yeah.
and this is really it plays a very important role in, especially to the community, in getting them prepared, getting them alerting other members of their family to be ready.
Thanks, Bonita. I'm going to come to you, Mary Wairita, because Bonita's just mentioned water storage. You have a water problem, plus you're so many miles away from Nakelo Landing, let alone Nosori Town. How did your community prepare ahead of Winston? What was the information you were receiving?
Thank you, Sharon. As for us in Watani, we always store water. We make use of the small water that we have. For us in Watani, we don't have electricity. So the only power that we have in the village is the old generator. It's run only 3 hours a day. That's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. But at the meantime, the old generator is not working. So for those of us that have a generator, the own generator, we can just on it and charge all the phone in the village, so that we could have information from our relatives and friends in the mainland.
So you did rely on SMS, on mobile phone based information. Were you listening to the radio as well?
For me, yes, because I have a small radio with batteries. For the whole community, they don't have the radios, but they have the radios with electricity. For the meantime, when the electricity is not on, the old generator is not on, so they don't have radios. For us, we can hear the news, then we can.
We're often told to prepare, have a transistor radio and batteries. That's one of, the basics of disaster preparedness. But batteries aren't cheap, right? Can your communities, people in your settlement, afford the batteries, or do you need to prepare more as not just individual households, but at the community level?
Yes, Sharon, the batteries nowadays is too expensive. From where we are, to come to Nosori Town, think about the fare that we have
The cost. There's a
of
cost to disaster preparedness. After the break, we come up with solutions and recommendations for national development planning. Thank you for joining us with another episode of Radio with Pictures. We're going to talk about your recommendations for the new National Development Plan. We're obviously going to have to recover as a country together, and the next 5 years are going to be critical, right? So Mary Warita, I want to lead with you because water is not just an issue that you've been raising, but so has Salote Nasovu from the Tumenosolo Women's Club in Nandi, who said a big issue in my village is water, drinking clean water. There's so much rubbish. People are just throwing their rubbish in the creek, and the animals are going to the creek, drinking, polluting it. We need to drink clean water from the tank. It needs to be safe so we don't get sick. We need a tank in our village. So that's Salote. You need a tank. You need water in your village. What's your recommendation to ensure that everyone has clean water?
My recommendation is to continue the availability to have the green big water tank. From now on, we still have the 2,000 liters, which are not catered for the whole family. So we need more than 2,000 liters to 10,000 liters water tank.
So the water provision, the storage facilities need to increase.
Yes, please.
Do you have a pipe running from the mainland to your community? How do you collect water?
No, we collect water normally from the rainwater. We don't have pipes. We just have the green container. From the past few years, we have the big 3 cement containers in our village. Then thank you, Sharon, for that. That after the consultation that we have here on the 14, 15, 16, then the PM's office come down to Vatani village to test the big green pool which we were having our bath, 171 population of people in the village. So they came on that day and they tested the water. They took it back and came back on the 28th, and they told us
of February.
On January.
Oh, in
January.
Okay.
And they told us to break all the cement tank, that 3 cement tank that we normally.
That was where you were all bathing. You didn't have
no,
clean.
where we were all bathing in the big green pool in the middle of the village. They come and test it. They bring it over, and they came back on the 28th of the same month, and they told us told the Trangitkoro to break down all the cement, which is old. From that, I don't know when they have the cement tank there, and they'll replace it with a new one.
So you're looking forward to these kinds of
Yes.
basic infrastructure improvements. Nirmala, many times we talk about your seedlings, your plants with the Vuniduidui Multiracial Women's Cooperative. You've had quite an interesting program several years ago about seedlings and plants. So in terms of agriculture, how should we be involving women in agriculture?
In agriculture, we should involve more women in business training, where they can start their own business, and some can go for their group business, and as well as more women to be involved in agriculture sector, where they can be going to field visit. How about preparing your seedlings? How about growing your vegetables?
So this is agricultural extension programs should come to women's groups.
Women's
Is
group.
it not happening?
It's not happening. It's very less at the moment. We need some more awareness program regarding women's to be
Okay.
involved in that.
So involve women directly in agricultural
Agriculture.
planning, the farming, the management.
Yeah.
Bonita, for national development, for the next 5 years, what would you like to see that we've achieved as a country in 5 years' time?
To me personally, I feel that the media plays a very huge role in the community, and what I would recommend is for 30% of the public's broadcasting budget to be given to community media, because I feel that through community media, the community gets information that is understood by them, it's to their knowledge, and to me I see that community media are for the community. They speak for the community, they work for the community, And this in itself, through the network that's already been established, information can pass easily through the community, through this kind of community media, and it can grow and expand to whatever initiative that can expand the purpose.
In terms of the next 5 years, based on the amount of work and experience you have through the PRAN network, what would be the key issues that the public needs to be aware of, that your constituents, your network members also need to be aware of?
I think we need to, through these 5 years, we need to gauge the progress of the authority in terms of how they adapt the national gender policy in every streams of government, because this opens a lot of door for us as women, for us as a marginalized community, and it recognizes a lot of development for people that are pushed aside, and it also talks about strengthening collaboration, and this is what we really need.
Thanks, Bonita. Hannah, coming back to our first conversation, as you look back, in your communities of Tavo and Ba, what would you like to see change? What would you define as the development we need in 5 years' time?
Thanks, Sharon. Well, when you look at Tavua and Ba, you'd see that overall it needs a lot of development. So I think that we just have to be able to communicate and create more awareness within the community of their role that they play.
And get the information to them. After the break, we're going to come up with some solutions that women have already initiated. Stay with us. Welcome back to Radio with Pictures, and here are the women. I'd like to dive straight into this conversation with you, Nirmala, as you're a member of the Vuniduidui Multiracial Women's Cooperative. And this has been a shining example of the amount of time that the way in which women have been supported to identify and develop the business, and the way you've moved ahead with the cooperative. So tell us about how much have you been managing in terms of funds, making sure your loans being repaid? Tell us about the cooperative.
Our multiracial group was we got a cooperative shop in 2010. We got a cooperative shop, so we had to have 10,000, which was 4,700 was NDP grant, Northern Development Program, and the 5,300 was from FDB, National Development, Fiji National Development Bank,
yes.
Which was a loan. So we have a cooperative shop. As we had to make a project proposal, so it took a long, Sharon, in nearly 1 year for the project proposal to be successful.
But the work actually started in 2009, is that right? All the planning, the training that you went through?
Yeah.
So in 2010 you started working on your project?
Yeah.
In between doing everything else?
Everything, collect farming and own business, marketing. Some of the members are market vendors as well as. So apart from doing our work, we were also involved in our cooperative, like doing the project to be successful.
And the project has continued despite some of the obstacles of not having electricity. You now have electricity.
Yeah.
How is the shop running today?
The shop is running today. We have cleared all the loan cleared, which was $6,000. It has been cleared by now, and the shop is still running. I'm managing the shop at the moment, and it's going successful. I think we got electricity now. That was also one of our project, and it was successfully. And with the help of you all, I would like to thank all who help us in making our project electricity one successful. We have been, I think this year our plan is that we'll be having more successful in running our cooperative shop.
So it's an example of how when you invest in women, in particular rural women, with the training, with the resources, with the support, you're able to start a business, manage a business, organize your repayments, your loan repayments, and continue and look ahead So congratulations to the Vuniduidu Multiracial
you,
Women's
thank
Forum. I'd like to come to you, Mary Wairita, because the health issue has been a concern for you and the women in your village. How have you taken control of that issue to say, this is women's health, we need to do something about it?
Thank you, Sharon. That issue has been there since we inherited that land. So we come forward with that. We continue to push up and ask for assistance of water. And wherever we go, wherever meetings, thanks to you that you come down to our village for your helpness, your concerning that the PM's office comes down to our village and tested our green pool for that long. I don't know.
But it's you as the women, right, organizing to say, this is an issue, we're not just going to forget it. You are the women who are pushing the issue.
Yes, Sharon. I am the women. I'm pushing that because it's the everyday needs for women in the village.
The right to water.
We don't rely water on men's because they just sit down there and drink rock. They don't know where the water come from. They don't know how washing we doing, how we wash the clothes, how we do the cooking, and how we can maintain to keep our children's. So
thank you for that, Mary. Now, Bonita and Hannah, listening to Nirmala and Mary's stories and thinking about, we have these commitments to decision making, but why don't we have more women in the advisory councillors? Why hasn't Nirmala been appointed? Why has Mary Wairita having to keep amplify this problem about water? What do we need to change? Because they obviously have the solutions. They know what needs to be done. You've been organizing in your community for so long. What needs to change?
I think people are not accountable to what they're supposed to be doing. They do not know what they're supposed to be doing. They do not know who they're supposed to be serving. Because if we have signed the gender policy, for example, then there's a duty there, and that is to expand from agriculture to health to whatever authority that will channel the assistance, that will channel the information to whatever community that's neglected. So that in itself is the reason why community radio or media plays a very important role.
Hannah, in terms of, we hear the stories every day. You're running the radio station out in Suva. Who do you want, what's your message to someone who listens to that program when they hear the women's stories? What's that change you'd like the radio program to make?
I think basically we just have to understand and recognize the role women play in the daily life.
Are there members of parliament, government officials? Who needs to hear these women?
Pretty much everybody, definitely members of parliament and relevant authorities and yes, decision makers. So they need to understand the contribution that women play in daily lives and understand the importance of having them in decision making levels. So yeah, I guess that would be a change that we'd like to.
That's the change we want to see, right? District advisory councils, are the women of Vuniduidu ready to step up to that leadership? Very quickly, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. So once again on Radio with Pictures, a very key reminder, women have got to be in decision making. We hope you'll join us again for another episode. For now, thanks for your company. Naka.